My aunt dated a murderer. First, let's set up some background to make the flow of the story smoother. This happened almost 19 years ago. I was nearly 13 years old and I was being raised by my grandparents. We lived in a little tourist town in Florida. They had their problems with 2 daughters as adults, my mother being the older of the 2, and they wanted to do everything that they could to make sure that I didn't turn out the same way. A do-over, if you will. So needless to say, they were very strict. My aunt was having a good period. She had her stuff together. We were all very close. My aunt understood what it was like to be raised under a glass dome, metaphorically speaking. They raised her too, after all. So, being as she was my only aunt, she made sure that the time that we spent together was always super cool. I would stay over Saturday nights. We would go out and hang out at the pier, and she would let me hang out with my middle school boyfriend, who would find ways to go wherever I was. My grandparents had no idea of any of these activities, of course. I was just spending some quality time with my aunt and giving them a break. It was nice that I had a younger female figure since my mom wasn't around. One night, when we were out having fun, my aunt meets this guy and they really hit it off. He was very nice and introduced himself to me. He went by JR, and at first, he was a kind and charming talker. They exchanged numbers after hanging out a while, and then we went home and went to bed. They ended up going out a bit more, and my aunt really liked JR. He took her to his home and introduced her to his father and showed her around his land. He lived out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. I had lived in this town for 30 years, and I still to this day couldn't tell you where it is. I was only there once. He was teaching my aunt how to shoot a gun. I remember her shoulder rocking back with the impact of the shot and it surprising her. He had these weird flamenco dancing clothes in his closet.
Okay, what is that? I wonder if that's going to circle around.
Okay, I think that's a really weird transition.
Dance while he's murdering her.
Yeah, her shoulder shoot back in surprise, and he's like, yeah. It was all seemingly harmless. I mean, everyone has their quirks. About 10 days, maybe 2 weeks later, we were again at the pier out by the payphones talking about what to do that night and what to get for dinner. JR and my aunt were in their late 20s, early 30s, and as much as she loved me, I imagine there were times that I got in the way. Well, anyway, we were at the pier and he is talking about how he has these painkillers. He offered me one. I declined, of course, and told him I had a high school tolerance. I had a high tolerance to pain anyway and didn't really need that stuff. He then, with a huge smile, asked me if he can see for himself, assuring me he really won't hurt me. He was just trying to have fun. This bastard twists my arm behind my back until I hear a pop. I start to cry and he laughs and says, "Aw, sweetheart, I was only playing. You said you had a high pain tolerance. I guess I was stronger than I thought. I'm sorry, no need to ruin the good time that we're all having." I go into the private pier office, which my granddad managed, crying. My aunt comes in and lets me know that she thinks it's fucked up and she will talk to him about it. She goes back outside and he asks her what she's up to that night. She tells him that she isn't sure if I'm staying over because of what just happened. I was whining about it when we got home. I was pissed that she hadn't decked him right then and there for hurting me. Well, he tells her that she should meet him under, let's call it the Sunset Bridge, at 2 a.m. on the other side of town. He says that the stars are beautiful and you can listen and hear the fish. He tells her he would love to see it with her and they can dance under the moon.
The flamingo.
We were all from a fishing family and live in a fishing town, so fish activities under the bridge at late times wasn't necessarily something that threw up a red flag. If it's dark and late, there won't be all these people hogging all of the fish. She tells him maybe, and we leave. I decide to spend the night after all, later sneaking in only if she will pick up my boyfriend Charlie, playing up on the guilt points. She calls him when she gets home before we made our arrangement about Charlie and says that she can come, but she'll have me with her. He groans and is like, "Fine, all right, I guess she can come too. Maybe she'll get tired and can sleep in the car." About an hour after she called JR the first time, I asked her about Charlie and she agrees. She sits down with me and hugs me and touches my face, lovingly apologizing for what happened with my arm. My aunt was an amazing woman, and I love her very much. She then calls him again and tells him not to worry. She's picking up Charlie, so I will have my own entertainment and they can have their time. He goes into a rage and starts sputtering and cussing about how it's too complicated now and he just wanted an intimate meeting with her and not a damn family reunion. He went on about how he didn't want to have to babysit a 13-year-old and her 14-year-old boyfriend. He hangs up on her after calling her a crazy bitch. She hangs up the phone and tells me what happened. We go on our night with pizza rolls and PlayStation and things are fine. He calls her a few more times and drives by the house for a couple of weeks, but my aunt was having none of it. After a while, he left our lives just as swiftly as he had came. The whole affair lasted only a month, if even that. 3 weeks maybe at all in all, and it wasn't the crazy experience she had with the man. JR was soon forgotten about, and we went about our business. Flash forward 2 years later, I was almost out of middle school. My aunt had moved to a city about 40 miles away. I still lived with my grandparents. They were still strict, but as they had gotten older, so had I.
That's how that works. That's how
Okay. I knew a few ways around the rules. One day, my friend Frank and I had missed the bus home from school and called our high school friend Darla to pick us up and take us home after riding a bit. She had this big, beautiful red truck, and I would ride around in the cab of it, loving the freedom and the wind. We were smoking cigarettes and laughing, listening to the radio. The time I would have spent on the bus before my stop was just enough time to hit up the taco drive-thru. We cruised down the road a bit before heading back to Frank and I's separate houses. He lived just down the road. We had a lot of fun that day. She dropped me off first. My grandparents came outside. They were heavily confused at the sight of an unknown vehicle, and even more so when they saw me get out of it. After letting her be the one to explain, because she was older, cooler, and more responsible, my parents thanked her for being kind enough to take me home. They said how lucky I was that she just happened to be there and helped me get home. The things we do to our parents, huh? That was the last time we ever saw my friend. She didn't show up for work for 5 days. I can't speak for everyone, but I assume she had just ran away. Darla's parents were going through a nasty divorce. The dad had a hot new girlfriend, and the mother was very bitter about it. Rightfully so, I guess. It was embarrassing for all the kids. Her truck wasn't left behind. I figured she got tired of her parents acting like infants and took off. I missed her, but she was in a whole other league of freedom and coolness. 16 is a whole different life than 14, especially when you're in 2 different schools. I wished her well, maybe even a little envious that she got out of this town and I was still here. I hadn't heard about her for about 2 weeks when about 9 p.m. one night, my grandparents got a call to turn on the news. Darla's body was found in the woods. She was strangled to death and left out there. I don't even know for how long. I was devastated. I was so joyful that I had that last experience with her, but so saddened and horrified. She was so young, barely older than myself. She was about to be 17 in just a short time. It was a very sad time for our town. The good and bad news is that they caught the guy who had done it. He confessed after some very incriminating evidence, and during this questioning, also confessed to killing his girlfriend, who had been missing for about 8 years, and also his father, staging his death to look self-inflicted by hanging. When they showed his mugshot on the screen and his name, I swear I almost passed out. Staring back at me was a picture of JR. I had no idea they even knew each other. I can't imagine what would have happened if we had gone under that bridge that night. Investigation Discovery Channel did a piece on it a couple years back. I was shocked to see it on the TV. The memories came rushing back and I decided to write them all down. I literally have a newfound appreciation of life now that I'm old enough to understand just how close I could have come to being killed. My aunt lived on to make some new awesome memories with me. I have a beautiful life with my husband and 3 boys that most likely would have never happened if things had gone differently that night.
That is terrifying.
That's crazy.
That's
Crazy. I've actually seen quite a few stories of people who, like, meet up with somebody and then later on realize that it's a serial killer. Like, there was a story I heard at some point in the last year or two where somebody's mom went on a date with Jeffrey Dahmer or something.
Yeah. There's
or not Jeffrey Dahmer,
was it
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. There was a reporter that I worked with who did a story on someone who escaped from Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was out on a hiking trail and he was I'm having a hard time. Can you help me to my car? He seems like a nice guy. He's got a little beetle,
Mm-hmm.
and just something in her was this is weird. Get out of this scenario.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going through all of this.
Okay, thanks, Mom.
I can imagine going through all of that where you have someone that you look up to and a friend, and the person who did that to them is someone that you are familiar enough with.
Yeah, somebody
You know?
that you like literally cross path with for like an extended period of time. It was 3 weeks the time that you spent with this person. You met their dad.
Right.
Like there's all these different things that connected you, and then your friend
Yeah.
is
And
the
I don't know if
unfortunate.
this is morbid, but I'm wondering the timeline of this.
It was a year
'Cause-
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, when serial killers, they'll like escalate and escalate.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
escalate. And sometimes when they're escalating, the time span in between
Get
their
shorter
victim
and
gets
shorter.
shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
Because the aunt met his dad.
Yeah.
So yeah, somewhere within that year span,
Yeah.
all of this happened, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. And he killed his girlfriend 9 or 8 years before that too. So it's like even when they were together, he had already done something.
Right.
And so you're already like hanging out with a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is why I don't date outdoorsy men. When they're like, oh yeah, just like come out in the middle of the night.
yeah.
I'm like apprehensive about like just dating in general and people
Yeah.
and meeting strangers. So yeah, to have a man like when guys are like, let's go on a hike, I'm like, absolutely not. We
Yeah,
can go
not
to
for the
a
first date.
very public place.
Yeah.
Even like a few dates in.
No, it would have to be like a month or so. Like I need
Yeah.
to like kind of trust you. And even then I'm sending my location to everyone that I know.
Yeah, all of my girls have my location. But like the first time I was seeing his roommate, I found out I like stayed the night at their house just like one time, but his roommate is like a blood spatter crime scene analyst. And I'm like, oh, Dexter? You live with Dexter? And I was like sitting there just like trying to go to sleep. And I was like, I made it so easy for myself to be murdered right now. I'm in a house with 2 men. One works on crime scenes.
Yeah.
They're nice. It's fine.
Yeah. I would have loved to ask him some
Mhm.
questions. What a job to have. Like you can look at a blood splatter and be like, I think that they were hit in the back of the head with this like amount of force from this type of object, and they were standing in this direction, and that's why it came there. Like,
Wild.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's geometry and physics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not near smart enough in those categories to ever have done that job. But
Same.
I'm glad someone does it. So
I want
can
you to
bring
like
people justice.
what just happened just now too, because we both fixed our hair and our eyes and said the same thing at the same time.
One brain.
But yeah, that's crazy. That would be a hard thing to live with for a long time. I'm really glad that
Yeah.
the aunt, like nothing happened to the aunt.
Right.
And that
Right.
really was like fate playing out right there for the daughter to be like, can my boyfriend come over?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, and then I always have to say with like dating people, with anyone really, it's easy to hide who you are in the beginning,
yeah.
but then it becomes harder and harder. So I think the scenario of him popping her arm, that's kind of more natural for what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And like the charming, witty man that they met initially, that's not actually his personality. That's what he puts on to get close to people.
Yeah.
So luckily the aunt was like not dealing with his shit. But if she did continue, I'm sure they would start to see the
More
cracks.
signs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how the flamenco clothes were never like
Yeah. I was like ready for like the flamenco murderer of Massachusetts. or
yeah,
something.
right. Like that's how he dances with his victims in his little outfit, and that's how like he gets them. Like
Yeah.
he peacocks.
Mm-hmm. How I would be absolutely horrified if someone's coming up to murder me and they're like dancing at me too, because
Yeah.
that's insane.
I'm picturing Jim Carrey's The Mask, like in that scene where he's dancing with the flamenco outfit on. That's what I'm picturing. So
Yeah.
imagine that. You're going up to a pier or a like bridge at night, and you're like, let's dance under the moonlight.
And then boom, you're dead.
And then
That's
you're dead,
terrifying.
yeah.
No one like Who would believe that? Like a flamenco dancer.
That's how he kills them. He dance. He's actually a fae.
Oh.
You ever think about that?
Yeah.
He dances.
Is there a
people to
story
death.
about that already?
Yeah, there's like that's lore. There's like a party or something where it's like all the fae people can dance for a long time, and it's also I think in a book, and I think it's in a smart book. But we brought it up. But where like the like fae are, their endurance is so much higher, so they can dance for hours and hours and hours. But like once humans start dancing, they can't stop dancing. Yeah, so they die.
This is interesting because there's this thing that I heard. I don't remember where I heard it. If it was like Discovery Channel or something, I heard it as a kid, where there was this plague that happened and people were dancing until they died.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to find it now, and I don't find anything super solid on it.
Yeah.
They're like talking about other plagues where people are, I think it was laughing until they died. And I was like, no, I remember it specifically being people danced until they died.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're bloody.
Till we die. I bit.
Yeah. They're like, this is evidence for fae.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's also the story of in that tower towards downtown, in the like circular one. Apparently, in the ballroom, in the bottom of it, there's like it's apparently haunted because the devil like danced with a girl all night until she died.
Oh.
And people like saw it in the daybreaks of morning that he had like hooves as feet and stuff, and then like realized it was the devil.
Maybe I don't want to go out dancing.
Well, it's in that specific building, and that I don't think that they have like dancing there anymore. It's
That makes sense. Yeah, I felt like they footloose the hell out of that building.
Yeah.
Like we were not dancing.
Yeah.
Someone starts to play music. Hey, cut that shit off.
Honestly, they should capitalize on that.
Yeah. Well, if it's apartment buildings now, I'll like put on a fun little tune and like
I think it'd be so fun to live in a building, and like in the bottom they throw parties every now and then, like
a little speakeasy vibe.
Yeah, where they have a DJ come out and you all go down and dance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a good way to build a community.
You have not watched Only Murders in the Building.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna spoil something. There's a season where in the building there's like an underground club thing, and it looks so freaking sweet, and I imagine that's what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And it would be like old-timey glamour, and like you go in, there's like you can gamble a little bit, you can dance, there's like music, get a glass of whiskey, and then wander home. That sounds so nice.
Yeah.
We
That's what I
should
want.
make a building where only us live in it, and we have
An entire apartment building, but we have a speakeasy at the bottom.
Yeah, people can come to our speakeasy, but actually I don't want to interact with people other than that.
I'm done.
Cool.
If you enjoyed that little story, be sure to watch the full episode here.
And make sure you like, subscribe, and all that jazzy.
Jazzy? I see what you did there. Wait, what was that?